You may have heard the expression, you've gone too far. Now, we're a curious bunch, and sometimes we just like to do some experimentation to test some of the limits that we're told about. For example, can you put pixels in water? Does the overcurrent protection on your power supply function properly? Even in personal relationships, for example, when my wife is having one of her headaches, too far is about like that far. Don't worry, she won't come out here right now. I was wrong. Hi. Welcome to Can a Spader Christmas. So for some of you, this is going to be a little bit of a deja vu episode with some bonus footage. I got a lot of comment. I posted a video Sunday morning, and it was about alternative cabling options, namely using Ethernet cable to power your pixels. And I got a whole ton of comments on that, and some were, yeah, I've used Ethernet cable throughout my display and it works fine. Others were giving me cautions about, well, what gauge cable is it? It's standard stranded 24 gauge cable. So 24 gauge cable does not have a whole lot of copper in it, so it doesn't have great current handling capability. Ethernet cable is designed to carry data, so it does carry the data signal very well. You can hook pixels up to it. You can use it to run pixels certain distances, but really you need to do your own measurements and determine whether or not it's going to be something that you want to use in your display. The bonus footage that I'm adding is that I did a test to see if the cable would heat up when I'm running the pixels at 100%. This is a 27-foot cable. I just had some extra Ethernet cable lying around. I put pigtails on it so that it would work with the pixels. And I couldn't even get 100% white running through it. I think yesterday I was able to do that. So that was, first of all, kind of weird. But and maybe because I coiled it up. I don't know. It was in a coil about this big when I was running my tests. After looking through all the comments and really just kind of thinking about it a little bit, I felt like the video just wasn't quite complete. So I went ahead and pulled it down this morning. I wanted to run an additional test, which I have done, and I will include that footage here in just a minute. But no matter what cabling option you use, especially if you're having flickering or if you're having colors that don't look right, check the voltage at the end of the prop or at the end of the string and make sure that you are getting enough power to the string. So here's the test that I ran tonight, and then the other footage will follow right after that. 51, about 52 degrees Fahrenheit. About 11.2 Celsius. We don't have any lights on yet. I'm going to set it for all white, run it for 10 minutes, and we'll check back. Well, as you can see already, it's having problems. We're dipping down to like 6 volts, sometimes 5 volts. So this is already a failure for me. We're at 54. Okay, we've been running about 20 minutes. It's up to 60 degrees. So I'm going to stop this color wash or ramp, and I am going to use X lights to output just straight 100% white. We're down to 5.4, 5.5 volts, but we should be maxing out on how long we've been running, 23 minutes. See if that made any difference. Well, that's still about 60. I will stop this. I will reset it. I will run it for 10 minutes, and we'll see if it goes up from there. Okay, so we've been running at 100% white for about 10 minutes, and we are at
about 70 degrees. I wouldn't even run it like this because those look awful, and it's just not performing well. So you know, voltage is 6.7. Just a little experiment, another experiment to see
how far can you get between the controller and the pixels. And I've gotten that question a few times, and my response is kind of, well, it depends. And really, that is the answer to how far is too far, is, well, it depends. In this case, it depends on the pixels, it depends on the wiring, it depends on the voltage, it depends on the brightness level. All those things mixed together to kind of determine how far away you can get between the controller and the first pixel. So we'll do some tests today. I'll show you the setup that I'm going to run, and we will look at a few examples. Up to this point, I've been using these extensions that I got from Ray. This one is a 10-footer, and so if I needed more, I'd just keep daisy chaining them on here. Probably not the most cost-effective solution. You can actually just buy the ends, the pigtail ends, and put your own cable in between. That's probably a better option for you. A little less expensive on the shipping from China as well. Also, in this video, I wanted to check out just using Cat 5 cable. So this is a brand new 50-foot cable that I bought from my local Fry's Electronics. It is standard Ethernet cable. Well, we're not going to need this, so we're going to avoid this warranty. Let me get rid of that, and we'll get rid of that. So I'm going to use this Cat 5 cable to make an extension cable, and then we'll test that in our little setup. This is the Ethernet cable that I cut off, and I stripped off about 3 or 4 inches. Standard Ethernet cable comes with 4 pair of cables, or 4 pairs of wires, so 8 wires total. Orange, solid orange, and then white with an orange stripe, solid blue, and then white with a blue stripe. Green's the same way and brown's the same way. So that's a standard Ethernet cable. These are the pigtails. This is my glass of water. It does not factor into this. Okay, so we've got the pigtails connected now. So data is the orange and white wire on both sides. And then ground, which is this one and this one, we have the orange wire, the green wire, the brown and white, and the brown wire. So there's 4 wires there, if I can get them all. There's 4 wires there for ground, and then the rest is 12 volts, green and white, blue, and blue and white. For the testing setup, I have again the 12-volt power supply running through the hex fuse, powering up the Falcon F16 V3, and I have 2 sets of 100 pixels. Now this one is going to act as the control, and this is the one we will start adding cable into to see what happens to the lights and see how far we can go. Just to show you that they both work, I have a 30-second sequence here. So the first effect is just a color wash through red, green, and blue. The second is a ramp from 0 to 100 all white, and the third is just another 10 seconds of all white. So I'm going to run this, put that into the controller so that it will drive the lights, and so this is what's going to be running the whole time. Okay, so this is just a single 10-foot extension that you get from Ray Wu. Really can't see any difference between the two, and I wouldn't expect you to see a difference in the two. The ramp up to 100, and sustaining 100 is just fine. Okay, this is with a 20-foot extension now. I just added another 10-foot onto the other 10-foot, so this is a total of 20-foot. And again, you still can't really see a difference between the control side and the side that is extended, which is good. Okay, so now this is 30 feet. Okay, so now this one is starting to flicker. This one is still fine. So 30 feet is probably about as far as you'd want to try to go with this set of pixels.
Now I'm going to try to lower the brightness and see if I can't fix that problem. I will go into the, I think it's this one. Let's just go to 50% and see if that fixes it. And go back to X-Lines. Okay, so I have lowered the brightness to 30% on that string, and it looks like it fixed that problem. Now, you can tell that there's a difference in brightness between these two. This is still at 100%, this is at 30%. If the rest of your display is at 30%, then it really doesn't matter. I will tell you that 100% on pixels is way too bright for most residential sections. Now, if you live out in the country or something, it may be a little different, but anyway, so by cutting the brightness down to 30%, we're able to get this 30 feet of cable between the controller and these pixels. Okay, so now I have replaced the 30 foot of cable. I had one that was 27 feet long. So this is 27 feet of Ethernet cable. I've gone back up to 100% on both sides. So we'll see if it makes any difference, if we have the same issue. White is always going to tell us if there's a problem. Yeah. So once we start getting up to 100% white, we start having problems again. So let's go back to Falcon and we will set it at 30. So again, when we go back to 30% brightness, the lights are working well. Let's see how far we can go. Let's go up to 60%. Let's go a little bit higher. Let's go to 70. 70 looks good. Let's go to 80. 80's looking good. Let's go to 90. Didn't like 90. With the Ethernet cable, 27 feet, so that's 3 feet shorter than the pigtail. We do get like a little bit of flicker, but we're at 80%, which is actually very, very good. Okay, let's see if we can go further. Okay, so we've got this 50-foot cable. This one is set to 30%. This is at 100%. It's looking pretty good. Okay, for this we're using a different kind of pixel. So these are strip pixels. So this is a single node, single pixel node, but it's got 3 LEDs in it. So 3 RGB LEDs. So it's a total of 9 LEDs total in this one node. These are a single RGB LED, so they have a red, a green, and a blue in it. This one has 3 red, 3 green, 3 blue in a single node. So it's more light per node. It's just basically strip encased in a piece of plastic here. Same setup as last time, where this is the control. It's just being fed with the pigtails, so no extension. This one has a 10-foot extension from Ray Wu feeding this side. So I think we should be okay with the 10-footer. Let's check it out and see if it makes it through the whole sequence. Power supply is really winding up. Man, those things are bright. Okay. Let me add another segment to this and we'll do 20 feet. Well, even in the colors we're starting to get some issues. So I know this white is going to give us problems. Okay, this one is running at 30%, this is at 100%, and then we have 20 feet of cable in between this one. It is going to be pulling more power because there are 3 RGB LEDs in each node, but there's only 60 of those, and it's still having a problem at 30%, so I wouldn't use 20 feet of cable between the controller and these nodes for anything. Okay, one final test. I have the 27-foot Ethernet cable in line here. This one's at 30, this is at 100, and we actually seem to be doing better now, so let's start ramping up the brightness level. We'll go to 40% and see how high we can get it. So now we're at 60%. This is 70%. 80%. Well, let's go to 100 and see if it works there. Alright, so now I have the Ethernet cable. These are both at 100%. And this is 27 feet of cable. And it seems to be doing fine. Wow. Alright, this is the 50-footer. These are at 30%. These are at 100%. Yeah, that's not going to work.
I hope you found some of this information useful. If you have any questions, leave them below. I'll get to them. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. And all the dogs run.
And we have a jet flying over. There's so many cars going by.